Look at the Nice, home of Storm Cinemas, which is now an Odeon. It was called Storm Cinemas because water used to piss through the roof. Come on, come on, come on. Don't you be giving me the stink eye in your mirror. You bought a fucking Skoda Yeti. The stupid man's Land Rover. Here we are, back in the saddle on Monday morning, back into work. I was off last week, so I got a few bits done. I don't know whether it'll still be last week by the time this gets posted, because I have a bit of a backlog of things to be done. I've been trying to alternate like a on the bike video and an off the bike video for a while. I don't know how long that'll last, because I'll run out of things to do off the bike. Eventually it'll just be reviewing my washing machine or something, and then I'll know it's time to stop. But let's keep with that for now. So there may be a bit of a time lag between when I record and when I post. But anyway, yeah, I was off the first week of August, the week of the bank holiday, and got a few bits done, got a few photo rally points, did a bit of work, got a lot of sleeping done, and did a bit of camping, which was nice. Did a bit of thinking, and this will turn into an actual vlog. An actual vlog. He's only what, a year and a half in, and now he's finally actually vlogging as opposed to trying to be useful to people. And one of the things that I was thinking about, or we were thinking about, myself and the missus, is if we wanted to move again. And so I think that the general plan of moving again has been put into motion. And one of the ways that I'm making it happen is I'm just telling a few people, you know, so telling some mates and telling people, yeah, we're definitely doing it, yes, indeed, and so telling some internet strangers will also be therapeutic in some way. And by therapeutic I mean it'll make me actually fucking do it, instead of sit in my hole and not do it for 6 months or a year, which would be what I do by default. So to give you the brief resume, I am originally from Kildare, and so I grew up in Clane, which, if you know Clane is, you know, a reasonably medium-sized town in Kildare, close to Nice. I lived in Dublin for a long time around college and after college, and I was renting and sharing and, you know, the usual business, and I got a pain in my bollocks with that. So as soon as I was able, I bought a house, and so I sort of looked in ever increasing radius away from Dublin to see where could I afford a house. And one of the points on that circle of affordability was Clane. So I said, fuck it, you know what, there was lots of houses being built at the time, so I went and I bought one. And this was in 2006, which for people familiar with Ireland and the economy and etc. was not a great time to be buying a house. So in 2006, houses were generally overpriced for what they were. You know, things were getting back to those levels at the moment, or they're on their way, but generally it was like lots of people wanted to buy houses because every Tom, Dick and Harry was able to borrow money for essentially free. Well, not for free, they're paying for it now, but they were able to actually go get 100% mortgages based off of, like, yeah, I've got a shitty old job, and my girlfriend, who I definitely won't break up with, also has a shitty old job, so we can definitely get a 35-year commitment, and the banks were only too happy to do that, which, you know, I'm all for personal responsibility in those things, but it was far too easy to do. Now, I was lucky enough in that I didn't get a 100% mortgage, and I got a reasonable one, and I was and still am able to pay it. I don't live there in that house anymore. So I lived in that house for 8 years until 2014, and it was great, you know, for the most part, because you know, not sharing with random people, and, you know, Clane is a nice town, and you're hanging around, and it was decent. But I was commuting into town, and I was doing this commute every day, and I've been doing this commute for 10 years now. So a couple of years ago, actually 2 years ago, was roughly when we moved in. We sort of said we want to live outside the town. We want to have like a house with a garden and, you know, a bit of running around and etc. We don't have kids, but, you know, she likes her gardening and I like having space, and we found this place with a big yard and a big garage, and, you know, ticked all the boxes and was big enough. Wasn't huge, but was, you know, big for our purposes. And so we did a bunch of work on it, and, you know, we've been there for a little while, and it's only in the last little while that I sort of realised, do you know what, I don't fucking like doing this commute anymore. I don't, you know, two things I guess. One, the commute started to get to me, and I know the bike makes it a bit better or easier because it takes a lot shorter on the bike, and for the bikes, from the bike's perspective, it's almost the perfect commute for learning to ride a bike. There's, you know, country roads and twisty roads, then there's motorway, and then there's a city. You know, it's like, here is a pretty decent obstacle course for a new biker. But it gets to me. It's like, it's an hour on the bike each way, and it can be an hour and a half, you know, in the car, and, you know, the worst I've ever had was 2 hours in the car each way, and that was shite. But so the commute gets to me, and also we've discovered in the last couple of years that we just don't use the space. Like, you know, we have a nice big garden. It's about a half an acre of mature gardens, and we have the big garage and stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna get back into doing woodwork and stuff I used to do some ages and ages ago, and I just never did. And the reason is, you know, we're both still working, we're both still doing stuff full time, and I think the mistake, and I'm happy enough calling it a mistake because everyone makes them, is that I think we bought the house we wanted to retire to. Cheers, buddy. Good lad. Yeah, nice wave there. Fuck you. I think we bought the house we wanted to retire to. If we had all of our time to ourselves, we'd have time for all of this stuff, and we'd do, you know, we looked at it and we said, wouldn't it be brilliant to live here? Brilliant. Yeah, exactly. Except the two of us have shit going on during the day, and we kind of have to, you know, it's almost like we bought it too soon, and that's unfortunate, but what can you do? So over the course of last week, after a lot of tinkering, and we started to work out a lot of the details, I think I'm going to move into town. Now, town is a very catch-all term, so we'll see where in town. Anyway, 2 weeks 2 weeks later, and I finish off this video. So I hear you ask, or you may think quietly to yourself, what does this mean for the channel? The answer is, don't know just yet. It really depends on how quickly this all moves. If the current place sells quickly, then I could be left without somewhere to store a bike for a while, because I'm sort of reconciled with the fact that we'll have to rent for a little bit, so I might have to store it up when we actually move. It really depends on, you know, what kind of garage space I have up in Dublin, and whether I can justify hanging on to this thing. I love this bike to bits, even though I haven't had it for very long, but I love it to bits because it also helps me on my 50 kilometers each way commute across many different kinds of roads. So that's kind of a thing if I'm not going to be using it except for blasting at weekends. It's a bit of a horse to be having sitting in the garage most of the time. So there is that. So whether I change this for something or whether I end up having a second bike again, it's all up in the air. But that's all, I suppose, if you think about it, that's all good for the channel. What could be bad is that updates might get a bit spotty, and I'll see. I'll try and be predictable about that, and just not not just disappear for months at a time. So we'll see. But all changed, as I say. I'm looking forward to shit now, like since last time, even since the 2 weeks that I recorded the first bit of this video. We've put some stuff into storage, and we've been looking around at things, and we've been talking to various agencies and arseholes that you have to talk to around property, and it's starting to get real, lads, even in 2 weeks. So we'll see what happens over the next little while. Cheers.